Hi, welcome to Strong as You Think. Today, I want to talk about our mental emotional check engine light. So, just like in a car, we can be driving it, it can be working just the way it's supposed to. It's getting us to where we need to go. We don't recognize anything's wrong, but a check engine light will turn on. And we think, oh, And this is an indication that we should take it to the mechanic, because if we don't, there's a possibility that there's something going on in the car that, if left too long or left long enough anyway, could cause the car to just stop or cause it to not work or cause more damage. And so it's kind of a warning light. It allows us some time to take care of things before they get bad. And just like our car has that warning system, that check engine light, we have warning systems in our bodies that tell us we need to look at something closely, that we are able to function, we're able to do what we need to do, but we have these things showing us that if we don't tend to them, we might cause some damage to ourselves, to our mental and emotional state, or even others. And some of the things, this is definitely not the only things, but some of the things that I think could be check engine lights for our mental emotional systems could be when we're irritated with our spouse or our kids or our boss or someone else. And it's natural to be irritated sometimes, but if we constantly finding ourselves irritated, on edge, and that's a lot of the time, I think that's one of those warning lights. Okay. Another one would be if we're just feeling tired or fatigued a lot. And that sounds physical, and it can be physical, but I've noticed that I've been able to tell the difference sometimes between more of a physical fatigue when I'm just, I've exercised a lot or I haven't gotten the sleep, that kind of physical fatigue, than a mental fatigue where I'm just tired because of emotional things. Like a lot of emotional things have been on me. And if I pay attention, I can tell a difference in that. And then there's also the factor that we can feel physically tired from a mental fatigue as well. Like it can cause us not to sleep, which the not sleeping part, like if we're having some insomnia, that's also, I think, one of those warning lights too, if we start to have insomnia pretty regularly. And another thing that I think is good to look at is if maybe we're feeling a stuck feeling, we just feel like something's not quite right, we're not happy with things, or even if we just feel like we just aren't feeling much of anything. We're not feeling real sad or bad, but we're also not feeling a lot of happiness either. So that maybe being irritated, feeling the tired or fatigue a lot, not sleeping, and then just the lack of feeling or feeling stuck. I think those are some big check engine lights for our mental emotional state. And we want to pay attention to those because a lot of times we're able to function through a lot of that. Okay. And it's easy to say, I just have more important things to worry about. Because you can keep going, right? We have busy lives. We have things that we feel like we need to do. We have things that we want to do. And when we can push through that, it's easy to not pay attention to that, right? Because it just hasn't gotten us down. But the thing is if we ignore that long enough, something will happen when we do stop functioning. So I don't want you to wait until you can't function. I want you to pay attention to these signs. And what do you do when you have these signs? Well, first, I would say let's take some time to rest. That could be actually just getting some more sleep. It could be just taking some time away from the things that you feel like are stressing you, setting a boundary and taking a little time away from that. I think that you'll want to maybe journal about it, to maybe figure out what is going on there. Sometimes when you start writing about what you're feeling and what you're thinking, you start to figure out some things that could be bothering you. I also suggest talking to somebody that you trust. That could be a friend, that could be a spouse, a family member. And sometimes it's really valuable to talk to a therapist or a coach, someone who's not emotionally involved with you, so that you can have that space to say whatever it is you need to say. And they can ask you really good questions and offer accountability and support as you go through this. But I just want to offer to you, you may not want to wait until things get bad. I think that a lot of times we think we don't need to get that support until things get really bad, and we know we can go get that and there's help available when things get bad. But I just want to offer that there are some warning signs. There are some, our mental emotional check engine lights that come on that give us little hints that we need to check some things out and give ourselves a little bit of a break. And usually a break is good because it gives us that space to start looking at it. But usually breaks aren't enough. Usually we got to figure out how to do something different, how to correct a belief that isn't working for you. So be on the lookout for the check engine lights, and don't just drive through them. Don't just go through. Take some time. It gives you a little bit of a time. You don't have to do it immediately. That's the beauty of a check engine light. It's usually not, the check engine light comes on and the car stops 2 seconds later. It usually gives you a little bit of a time to do that. But pay attention and take the time that these check engine lights, the being irritated, the being tired, the not sleeping, the feeling stuck, pay attention to those and start figuring those out before you have a big problem. All right. Thank you for joining me, and we'll see you next time. Bye.